Welcome on into another edition of Smart Chat here on YouTube.com, and I thank you for watching, liking, subscribing to my channel. If you haven't done so, please do so right now. Do want to give you my raw thoughts from February the 8th of 2016, and these raw thoughts are obviously in no particular order. A big theme coming into this past Raw was the retirement of Daniel Bryan. And I thought the video package was done very well, that you've seen throughout the course of Monday Night Raw. Very well done. Very well done. As far as Daniel Bryan is announcing his retirement, apparently there was a test that was done after the Royal Rumble in New York, and it turned out that something was seen that Daniel Bryan didn't see before in prior tests, and obviously, it was enough where he said to himself that it's time to step away, time to retire. And you gotta, I understand that a lot of people have great thoughts about Daniel Bryan. Good wrestler, obviously enjoyed him. But some of these posts I read online and Twitter and Facebook, guys, relax. He's just stepping away. He's not dead. There is life after wrestling. Life after wrestling. As far as with Daniel Bryan goes, I don't think that you will see him in any type of wrestling capacity on a daily basis. I think with Daniel Bryan, he considers himself a entertainer, not an entertainer, but a wrestler, not an entertainer. To him, I think it's either wrestling or nothing. I don't see him being a on-air GM. I don't see him backstage. I don't even see him being an ambassador. Yes, he has charisma, but I don't think it's to the extent where he feels comfortable going out and doing ambassador type of roles for the WWE. So with him, I think it's all or nothing. You might see him every once in a while make a special appearance, kind of like what Edge is doing. But I just don't see him, being on TV very often. It's almost like it'll be a very long time before you see Daniel Bryan on TV again. When you had that segment there, and all of the locker room was out on the stage there, and they were congratulating Daniel Bryan, did you notice some of the the main event talent? I forget who. It was Chris Jericho. He was wearing a Social Outcast T-shirt, if I'm not mistaken. What a cool rub, and that's just boys supporting the boys in the locker room. You gotta love that. Kevin Owens was wearing some type of different shirt too. It looked like, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I think it was maybe New Day, I want to say. I could be wrong. I thought that was cool too. And that just kind of brings out the fact that wrestling is just a huge fraternity. Speaking of Chris Jericho, make no mistake about it, Chris Jericho and The Miz, with The Miz TV and the highlight reel, whatever you want to call it, their main job, between the two of them, is to put AJ Styles over. Get him as much as crowd reaction as humanly possible. Now listen, I'm not saying that AJ Styles doesn't have a following. He does. But, he needs more of a following, I think, in the eyes of WWE. And the reason why there was a big pop, okay, let's not get it twisted as well. The reason why there was a pop is because, you know, pretty much both of them were saying how AJ Styles beat him. So, I mean, that played a part of it as well. So let's not get that twisted as well as part of the reaction for AJ Styles. Another thing I really want to touch on is, are we going to see a reincarnation of 2016 of the Dudleys versus the Hardy Boys? The Hardy Boys being taken the place of the Usos. Dudley's turned. They're heel now. And it's funny how, you know, Bully Ray was such a big heel in TNA, and WWE doesn't even acknowledge it. But, you know, with the Dudleys, make no mistake about it, they're clearly enhancing talent. That's their job. Put tag teams over, as is the right of way, as it should be with, you know, when you're approaching your mid-40s at the end of your career. Your job is to put you guys over. And I think that's what is being done, obviously, with the Usos, the reincarnation of, you know, the Hardy Boys. I think that Hardy Boy Dudley rivalry now with the Hardys re-signing for TNA for just a little bit. For just a little bit longer. Whoa, and I'm sorry about that. Last thing I really want to touch on here. Ambrose versus Ambrose, that segment where Ambrose pretty much called out Brock Lesnar, and Ambrose once again just looks silly and is demolished by Lesnar. It just doesn't look right to me, that whole matchup between Lesnar and Ambrose. There's no way Ambrose could beat Lesnar legitimately. It just looks silly. I mean, Lesnar's leg is pretty much the size of Dean Ambrose. I mean, it just doesn't look right at all to me. I know it's not the size of the dog that matters, yada, 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 but it just doesn't look right. And, I mean, if you're the WWE announce team, they didn't do Dean Ambrose any favors by the way they were selling that match or that run-in with Ambrose going after Lesnar. They're like, what is he doing? What is he doing in the fight with Lesnar? I mean, geez. I mean, he is in the main event with him. Why are you acting surprised like he's calling out Lesnar? I mean, it just didn't, they didn't do him any favors. It just looks silly to me. And the last thing that I want to touch on as far as Daniel Bryan goes on Raw, I think he is definitely Hall of Fame. Now, you might say to me, well, his run was only short as far as WWE. But look at his overall body of work with ROH and the Indies. And even if you just look at that short time frame from the WWE, he worked his way up the ladder. And he proved that the fans really do have the capability of making a star. And it's not always what management wants. He forced the hand of management to give him that push and give him the strap. And, you know, even when you look at social media that day when Daniel Bryan was announcing his retirement, there were congratulations from across the whole spectrum. Not even from wrestling fans. So his whole yes movement and his underdog mentality and the theme of always believing in yourself, I think left a lasting impression on not only wrestling fans but people on itself. You remember the yes movement even was its own phenomenon. Was even in Giants games. It just took a life of its own as far as the yes. The Islanders do the yes as well now. So that kind of just transcended. And even though it was a short run, he left a lasting impression with everyone. Can't deny that he was a great talent as far as in the ring. I mean, his short run with the WWE never was really on top at all. You know, you have guys like Batista, John Cena, CM Punk, all had runs. And as soon as Daniel Bryan won the strap, it just kind of was the beginning of the end as far as his injuries. But short run, but a meaningful one. You know, other people with short runs have been inducted as well. Take, for example, Ultimate Warrior. What, was only in the WWF for 5 years? Rowdy Piper for 4 years, Orndorff for 4 years. So it could be done. And quite honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Bryan is the headliner in the Hall of Fame and WWE rather contacts Daniel Bryan and say, hey, listen, go into the Hall of Fame this year. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he might be the actual headliner. I don't think it will be Sting. I don't think that Sting is the headliner. You know, the rumor has been that's been Taker, but it seems like Taker still is not ready to retire and still wants to continue to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Bryan gets elected into the Hall of Fame this year. You know, just some of my thoughts. Welcome your thoughts, your feedback. Hope all is well. Look forward to speaking very, very soon.